Thank you very much for arriving today for this talk. Thank you for making time. All right. So today's talk is actually a part of my journey to become a HRDF accredited trainer. And as you know, this accreditation process, there is a number of requirements. So as you guys came in, you were given a form, consent form, so that you agree to be recorded and to participate in today's training. Yeah. Please fill in that form. Yeah. Those of you who have not filled in the form yet, can I just get an indication? Can you raise your hand? Anyone? Nobody lah. Okay. So today's training is actually a practical introduction to trademarks and copyrights. Yeah. And it is quite an important topic lah. Yeah. Johnny, can I get you to go to the next one?
Okay.
Thank you. So I would like to give you guys an important notice first. Yeah. First one is that this presentation is not intended to serve as a replacement for legal advice from a lawyer. If you need legal advice, please seek out a lawyer for this purpose. Right? And then the contents which I present to you today, it's about trademark and copyright. So it's natural that I will tell you all contents are copyrighted to you. Okay. So if you want to reproduce this, please seek my permission. And today's event is free, and I appreciate you all for coming. So I hope that you will enjoy today's session. Thank you very much. Next. So today, I would like first to introduce myself. My name is Kevin. I'm a lawyer. Professionally, I'm also a trademarks agent, a patents agent, and an industrial designs agent. What it means is that the things which I'm telling you today, I have some experience in it now. And in my free time, I like to follow the news on blockchain and crypto. Yeah. So my friends, I have a couple of friends here today. You can also ask them about blockchain and crypto. I think they are quite knowledgeable. So today's agenda. Today we will start with the icebreaker. All right. And then we will go into my first seminar, which is on trademarks. So why trademarks? Unregistered trademarks. What happens when your trademark is unregistered? And then what you should do to get it registered. After that, we'll move into the hurdles to registration, which is you get the objection from the trademark office. You also have the opposition from third parties, members of the public. And finally, you want to defend your trademark. Okay. After that, we'll have a question and answer session, and then followed by a quiz. And then I have some group activity designed for all of you. Yeah, I hope that all of you will be able to participate, because after that there will be a short presentation. Then we'll take a break. Next. After that we'll have a refresher, or what we call it, energizer. Yeah. And then followed by the second seminar, which is on copyrights and other intellectual property. When I wrote there IP is actually the short form in the industry is called intellectual property. Yeah. And we'll cover copyrights, but we'll also cover shortly, very briefly, other kinds of IP. And then there's the importance of copyrights, how you acquire copyrights, and the infringement of copyrights. We'll also cover the defenses. So after that, there will be a question and answer session. Again, quite similar, there will be a quiz. And then there will be 2 short assignments. So you guys will be back to the group discussion. And then finally there will be a feedback and there will be an end. So before I proceed, let me just say that today there are a number of you here, and I was hoping that we could have at least about three persons to a group. So I think now we have 3 persons to a group. If none of you leave before the program ends. Okay? Is that okay? Yeah? Okay. So today's training has the following objectives, right? This training aims to help you, number 1, to comprehend the key aspects of trademarks and copyrights, including the acquisition, defense, and practical implications. Number 2, to identify and analyze potential challenges in registering and defending intellectual property. Number 3, to facilitate critical evaluation of real-world scenarios concerning trademarks and copyrights through group discussion and presentations. Number 4, to foster creativity and problem-solving skills by developing strategies to overcome intellectual property challenges in a business context. And next, after you complete today's training, I hope that you will be able to use your understanding of trademarks and copyrights to develop strategies for protecting your own intellectual property. Number two, you will be able to examine and critique potential obstacles in the process of registering and defending intellectual property. That means you will be able to actually evaluate to some extent. Maybe you won't be as good as me, but you won't be zero. Okay. Third, to assess real-world scenarios to make informed decisions about managing and protecting intellectual property. And number four, you'll be able to construct and present solutions to overcome challenges in managing your intellectual property in group discussions. Yeah. So with that, we'll go into our icebreaker. Okay, is everybody ready?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take just pause the video for a minute. Okay, so now you go back to the red button.
Okay, you say. Just don't reduce it now.
Okay. So, okay, ladies and gentlemen, are we recording? Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. So now we'll do an icebreaker. I've allocated about 15 minutes for this icebreaker. All right. Next. So for each participant, I would like you to introduce yourself, and then I would like you to describe the trademark that you admire and the product and service represented by the trademark. And then maybe you can also tell us whether you think the trademark has many copycats. So I will go first. So hi everyone, my name is Kevin. Yeah, I'm today's trainer, and I admire the trademark KFC. Yeah, KFC because I like Kentucky Fried Chicken since I was a young boy. Yeah, I like Kentucky Fried Chicken, and the product which is represented is actually fried chicken. I think the KFC trademark has a lot of copycats, especially in China, where you can see a lot of KFC or BFC or something like that. All right, so that's my take on it. Okay, maybe I can call on one of you.
I'll start first now.
Alright.
My name is Chung Yi. I just like Kevin, I'm also legally trained. I was practicing for a while, for 12 years in litigation. The trademark that I admire and I think is quite unique and is everywhere. Everywhere that you see is Starbucks, and it has it gives you a place where you can sit down, have your meeting, and it also sells coffee at the same time. So both of these goes hand in hand. And this trademark, I do believe it has many copycats. You have people who use the picture of that lady in different colors, calling it by different names, and making slight amendments to it to pass off as Starbucks. And at the same time, it's because the mark is so closely linked to coffee. So every time you do something that closely resembles the mark, people will think of coffee.
Good, thank you. Maybe I can invite Mr. Fong.
My name is Fong Fu. I'm in this motor parts trade. My admired trademark is BMW.
BMW.
Yeah.
BMW or BMW?
BMW, yes. Selling the spare parts. Represent. The trademark do have copycat, but not much lah, because using logo they control internationally. They control it.
Okay.
Even though if you are not the dealer, you cannot use the BMW logo in your premises, in your trading premises. Even though in your invoice deal also you cannot have.
Yeah.
If you are not a dealer, you cannot have a logo printed on the bill and invoice or what.
Okay. Yeah, you are dealing in
Yes,
BMW parts. Yeah.
Ah. So only people, there is a lot of market they are selling OEM, I mean, original equipment manufacturing. They put that OEM only, they cannot put BMW one.
Okay. Thank you. Next, maybe I can call on Mr. Lee.
Hi everyone, my name is Kevin Koo. Call me Jay. The trademark I admire is Apple.
Oh,
Apple. When I'm talking about Apple, right, you won't think about the real Apple because there is a trademark. Not only trademark, it's the sign to everybody lah nowadays lah. It's a very good strategy and the trademark. Copycats. I believe there are many also in China, but not in Malaysia lah. In China got orange or whatever lah. But I don't think they can override Apple.
okay. Thank you. Peter.
My name is Trademark. I'm a lawyer. The trademark I admire is more on gaming, especially recently in the Japan game called Kung This game called Puzzle Dragons is a puzzle games. Recently, a lot from 5 or 6 years ago, there is a game on Tower Savior also copy his idea and then cause some chaos on the marketing and the gaming industry. Especially now, China most biggest gaming industry is called Tencent, also copy his game. Also got recent got some cases like program trademarks.
Okay. So, thank you. Thank you, Peter.
Beyond Johnson Lee Johnson from Pahang, Mentaka. Myself is a agriculture farmer. The trademark I admire because you know the Mahachai one. Mahachai is in our shirt. They call Ralph Lauren Polo. Those pakaian because use the time we when I was a teenager. We always admire, wow, this polo ada Mahachai logo ada Ralph Lauren, ada Mahachai sangat handsome ini orang ada kelas, ada status ni. So we looking for handsome, ada gaya, ada status, ada lifestyle. But end up, wow, there's too many Mahachai already. Right? So many the polo got like this up or the down, on the left or without the horse. Also like called Mahachai. So Ralph Lauren this was one of the too many copycat in the real life. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Maybe I'll talk about that in a while.
No.
But actually, I represent one of the copycat. Okay. Pa, would you like to? I don't know.
Well, I don't admire, but I know
Okay,
for
so-
certainty that there is a trademark known as McDonald's very much.
Would you like to introduce yourself? Because maybe the session is being recorded.
I'm Koo Nam, right? I'm also a practitioner of trademark. So, as a matter of fact, I know there's a Hong Yong trademark and also the McDonald's. Right? But they're copycats. Right? And they're contested in court. So, Hong Yong actually is, Hong Yong Bank is actually banking services, but there's also Hong Yong Taylor.
Okay, that one I think I understand.
And also the issue of McDonald's is when it was registered in Malaysia by Vincent Tan. How the story I told Peter is the McDonald's by America came in and then they wanted to register, they couldn't do it. And that's interesting. Remember I told you,
One of them pre-register first.
so one of the ways in this trademark there's today a change in law, right? I leave to Kevin to talk on that issue.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So, as a matter of fact, this issue does sometimes crop up. Sometimes you have a trademark user in one one category, maybe Hong Leong for bank, and another one for tailor. Maybe the trademark office might allow the registration because it is not in the same class, not in the same category, right? If they can prove that there is no confusion. But at the same time, if Hong Leong insists, I say that we are a famous trademark, so our brand will be diluted. And who knows, we might even want to go into the clothes industry. So if you allow today, then you'll block us tomorrow. Then that one is also another argument. Alright? So it could also be that Hong Leong Tailor was registered earlier than Hong Leong. I don't know. I did not know about this case. But these are a few of the arguments as a trademark practitioner. Okay, Sheng, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hey everyone, I'm Sheng. So I'm a product manager and a developer. And the trademark I'm interested in, or I think would be relevant to this, would be Pepe the Frog.
Oh, Pepe the Frog. Okay.
Yes, Pepe the Frog. So Pepe the Frog started as just a funny cartoon, I think back in 2005. And then later it was misappropriated by a lot of right-wing populists or left-wing populist groups. And they misuse the cartoon for not so good purposes. Yeah, and then now there are a lot of variations and version of it being used for a lot of probably money games or maybe scams online and whatnot. And there seems to be a lot of copyright or trademark related issues, and some of it are successful by the originator and seem to have torpedoed some of the NFT collection launches. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. For those of you who don't know Pepe the Frog, it's actually this character where they have this frog with arms and legs like a human, but like Mickey Mouse, but it's a frog. And it was actually this cartoon drawn by somebody many years ago, and for some reason it became very popular, just like what Shane said. So today it's very popular, being used as a meme. Yeah? And in the crypto circles, they have something called meme coin, just like the Shiba Inu. There's a meme coin. So now they also have other meme coins. The Pepe coin is one of them, quite successful, right? But the original creator never enjoyed anything out of that. So that is probably an issue which is relevant today. Okay, maybe next I can call on Alicia. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Alicia Lee Sin.
Yeah.
I'm legally trained, but I'm not a practicing lawyer. I'm a transfer pricing practitioner. I provide transfer pricing documentation and also transfer pricing advisory services to companies to be in compliance with the Income Tax Act and also the transfer pricing rule and guidelines in Malaysia and also Asia Pacific. Thank you.
Can you describe a trademark that you admire?
I like the Manchester United trademark. And reason is because people around me, my family members, love to watch football, and they will bicker about between Liverpool and MU and other teams. And I believe MU trademark has many copycats everywhere, especially like T-shirts, caps, and whatnot. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Finally, I'd like to, so I'll be holding them. So I'd like to call upon Leo. Leo, please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Leo. I'm engineer by training. Nowadays I do web development and I run an agency. What trademark do I like? I think one interesting trademark is Charles and Keith. There are multiple cases of imitation in China. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, came up with some risk. Charles and Keith trademark.
So, thank you all of you for introducing yourself. Yeah. As all of you seem to be aware, trademarks is quite important, and even the most popular ones always have somebody trying to copy them, and that's because they try to ride off of the popularity. Alright, so because of that, I think all of you know how important trademarks are. Johnny, can you please take it to the next slide?
Yeah. Okay.
So what is a trademark? Right? I would call it a trademark is a way of identifying a product or a service. This is my definition, alright, very simple. A trademark helps a product or service brand to stand out. And effective trademarks can capture people's mind space. Meaning to say that when they think or hear of that word, they will think of that particular producer of the product or service. Yeah. So here are some of the trademarks which you may recognize. Coca-Cola. What's the second one? This one. Nike. Good. And the next one, of course, is McDonald's. Everybody knows that. I believe somebody said this is his favorite trademark. Yeah. And somebody else also mentioned this one. Right. So this is Apple and this is Starbucks. These are all famous trademarks. All right. And for some reason, people have been trying to copy them. So McDonald's you mentioned, Apple you also mentioned, and Starbucks somebody also mentioned. So, why are trademarks important? And I think the most important thing is because trademarks help to protect brand loyalty. Right? Each of you, as a business person or working in a business organization, you guys have a business trademark that you have to market your business. Right? And that trademark over the years it gathers value. Yeah. So as people get to know you, they like you, they trust you, they become loyal to you. Alright? And this brand loyalty, it leads to what a lot of entrepreneurs are looking for. It leads to recurring revenue. That means to say the sale which you have today is not the final sale. They'll come back next month, next year, alright? But they'll come back. So that's what we call brand loyalty. Not only that, they will also tell their friends, this is a good brand, this is a good company, please go there. Right? So brand loyalty is important. Yeah. When you have a trademark that is recognized and it has great brand loyalty, yeah, you will get your supporters for free. Alright, of course, to get there, to get to that stage, you need to do a little bit of promotion, maybe marketing and things like that. But once you get to a certain stage where your brand is so well known, then they become free promoters for you. Alright? They like the quality of the product, which they enjoy. They believe in you, your company, your brand, right? Even as an individual developer, like software developer, like Shane Yu or Leo, software developer, or Leo, or you, Chong, you as a maybe independent consultant. Somebody knows your brand, knows you, so they'll promote you. And that is you. You have a brand, right? And after all, they do not know the quality of the competition. Right? They will go with the one which they know. Okay, so next. At this point, I think it is quite appropriate for me to also say that trademarks can be quite valuable. Yeah, trademarks can be valued very highly, and that's because there is a valuable business behind them. Okay, and that trademark will also attract recurring revenue. People will come because of the brand loyalty. People will come. So it is very possible that a company acquires an old trademark, all right, or licenses an old trademark to ride off on the popularity of it. Okay, and when they do that, it enters a new market easily. So I'll give you an example. It's not in the slides, but I'll give you an example. Once upon a time, there was this company called Kodak. It's a camera brand, all right? How many of you have heard of Kodak? Yeah, most of you raise your hands. So Kodak was a company that somehow did not do well, right, during the digital camera stage. But during the crypto boom in 2017, somebody actually licensed that Kodak brand, and they started something called Kodak Coin. All right? Kodak itself did not go into the crypto industry, but somebody licensed it. And because of that, they managed to raise quite a bit of funds. I think for that, we're not touching on crypto today, but for a short bit, I will touch a bit on NFTs, because I think there will be people interested. Okay. So, next. So, I'll give you an example, a few examples. For example, you all know that Facebook is a popular app, and the company behind it has rebranded itself as Meta. But in 2021, right, when they were planning to relaunch themselves as Meta, because in light of all the metaverse, you know, and the NFT craze that was going on, they actually established a company called Beige, and that company went to deal with a bank, Meta Platforms, right, to purchase this trademark for $16 million. Of course, they didn't say that they are Facebook, they said that they are Beige. So they negotiated the deal and they purchased the brand. Now, Facebook is not in the same industry as the banking platform, all right? But to avoid future troubles, they decided to purchase the brand. And you can see that even purchasing such a brand is so valuable, 60 million. Next. How many of you have heard of this brand? It's called Teapot. Yeah, probably when you were a young person, you go to the coffee shop, they will have this announcement in a can, and then every time you say, "Boss, cukup kau," they will bring out this can of Teapot announcement, and then they'll pour it. Teapot has been an established Malaysian trademark. Now somehow it was disposed of for 83 million ringgit. It is a transaction within a group like Fraser and me. But this puts a value on the brand, right? Because it was the last transacted value. How many of you believe that this is actually worth 83 million?
Oh, no.
No one?
Didn't know. Didn't know.
Okay.
Roti canai punya barang mah.
Yeah.
Yeah, roti canai punya barang so if you are interested in how to value a brand, there's something called the interbrand method. There are a number of brand valuation methods. One of the most popular is called interbrand. It's promoted by a certain company by the same name. The next one is this one, iPad. iPad was a brand which was registered about 20 years ago in China, all right, by a Chinese company. Somehow, when Apple tried to go into China, they found that their registration was blocked. I believe just now when we were sitting over there for just a chit chat, Mr. Fong, you mentioned want to go into China, have to register in China, right? Yes, that's true. So this is exactly what happened. Before they went into China, some other company, a Chinese company, actually registered this name, iPad. They found that there is a problem so Apple found that there is a problem in registry. Instead of fighting all the way, they couldn't make it. They decided to settle for $60 million. All right. So today, you can see that Apple is the world's most valuable brand. This one actually, top 10 ranking, actually comes from a report by this company called Brand Finance. Yeah, and I'm sure some of you might recognize the most valuable brands in this list, right? Amazon, Google, Microsoft. Walmart is not here in Malaysia. It's something like your 7 years.
It's a building in the United States.
Yeah, it's a chain store, Yeah, and then Samsung Group. Right? How about ICBC?
China.
It's a Chinese
Chinese
bank.
bank.
Yes, International Construction. How about Verizon? Who knows what is Verizon? Verizon is like a phone company in the US. Alright, I think they provide phone services. So they don't provide hardware. They provide telephoning services. Okay. There's another one. Can you skip to the next
Yeah.
one? Right. This is again from the same report, but I screen captured from the same report. So this is the 25 top brands. Yeah. As you can see, when we go into the 25 top brands, the Chinese brands are more represented here. Right? You can see that there's this green color one. What is it called? WeChat. Yeah. Okay. How about this one? What else? Mercedes. That's good. Okay, so all these brands are very recognizable. Next page. How about over here? Have you ever heard of the one up here?
Oh, no, no.
This is a bank as well, I believe.
No.
This one is
Insurance.
insurance.
Okay.
Insurance. The big one is insurance. Those who like e-commerce, you probably know this one. Taobao. Yeah. It's yeah, it is backed by Alibaba, I believe. Yeah. So you can see that quite a number of Chinese brands are in the top 25. Yeah. And we are one of the friendly countries that is able to deal with China. In the next slide, I believe you'll see the effects of the Donald Trump administration. Because Donald Trump was having an anti-China stance. So what happened is that you can see a number of these Chinese brands, Alibaba and a few of them, they've actually come down. I believe that's also an effect of the Hong Kong government trying to, or the Chinese government trying to crack down on the apps. Alright. You can also see the current trend of AI. So this NVIDIA, AMD, yeah. Some of these companies are seeing an increase of their value. Alright. And that's driven by the current demand for AI services. So this is the sorry, can you go back? So this is the change over the course of 1 year. The most change, the highest change is actually on TikTok. Right? This was during the pandemic when people just get on the TikTok. But now I believe there is something going on. The next one, I think some of you might know, Snapchat. That one I don't use that. I believe a lot of young people use it, but not myself. Okay, next. So, simple question. Should you register your trademark? And my answer to you is yes. Yes, if you can. By the way, anyone says no, you should not register your trademark? Can I have a show of hands? Oh, that's interesting. Okay, maybe you would like to share what?
Well, to be precise, in the context of the NFTs, right? Yeah, it might be futile.
Okay.
Because you have a lot of anonymous characters and there could be a lot of people misappropriating it, such that we cannot even enforce it even if you register it, so it probably would be a waste of money.
That may be true to some extent, but you can still approach a platform owner and tell them to block the NFT, the authentic NFT, if you get proof. So still there's a value. Still there's a value because some platforms are so big, like OpenSea, Magic Eden. There's a value there. You just show them certification, and then they'll have respect. So anyway, thank you for that. So I believe you should register your trademark. I think this is the understanding for most people. Yeah. If you can register your trademark, the cost of registration is not expensive. In fact, there is now a program by the Malaysian government, I believe until October or something like that. It's called Dana IP 2.0, in which every company can register one trademark. They will bear the filing fees, alright? But if you want to appoint an agent, then you have to pay the agent separately. But Dana IP is actually not a bad effort from the government. It's been going on for a few years. After you register your trademark, you can block your competitors from registering it. That's because it goes through the trademark office, and the trademark office will examine who has registered and who has not registered. And if they see that this trademark has already been registered, somebody else who comes in with a similar trademark, they will be blocked. They will get an objection. You can register in foreign countries as well, you know, even if you haven't started business in those countries, and that's because you might plan to go into those countries. All right. So, for example, if you're here in Malaysia, right? Let's say Leon. Previously, you had some products, right, which you were selling. He had a drink product at one time, and so if you had planned to go into Thailand or Indonesia, the next logical step would be to register in those countries. I believe you asked me before about registering in China. Right?
Yes.
Those days I did not know how to. Now I know how to. Okay. So there is a value, especially the case just now which you saw, when China companies are registering trademarks, even though they are not planning to do the business, but they register first, they squat on your trademark. So that when you come, they'll say, sorry, we own this trademark. Maybe we are doing it for some small business, but if you want, you just buy over the trademark. Alright? I believe that they won't just sit on it, but they will assign it to some obscure product or some small business, so that when they are asked, they will have something to back up their registration. You see, trademarks also must be supported by actual usage. Yeah. And if the trademark is not being used, even though it's registered, there is a way to challenge it in a number of jurisdictions. Right. Anyway, going on, the registered trademark is also an asset for your company. It can be valued. And just like you saw just now, Apple has a trademark. That trademark, if they sell it today, there is a huge value that they can get from the company. But of course, they also lose an important asset. Right? And finally, registration can also be used to show first entry into the market. As a trademark agent, sometimes when we have a dispute, one of the things which we show to the court is we show we have registered this many years ago. Even though not successful, it doesn't matter. But we have applied the same party with the same brand. Alright? We can show. Okay, next. If you do not register your trademark, now, Shane, this is where I'd like to address just now the thing. Yeah. Even if you do not register it, can you protect your rights? And the answer is yes, you can. You can defend your rights. So you can still take action. And we call it passing off. Just now, Chong-Yi used the word passing off. Yeah. This is what passing off means is that they decide to do something which will confuse people as to the origin of the trademark. Alright? So let's say beyond, you have a drink product. Previously you had one. Somebody else decided to create Leon's. Leon is also a name, right? So they decide to use the same font, same color, but they call it Leon. And the guy says, my name is Leon, your name is Beyond, so I sell it under Leon. But because it looks so similar, people will be confused. Yeah. And so this is what we call passing off. It is an offense. And you can engage a lawyer, either myself or maybe Chong-Yi, if he gets back into practice. Right? And then after that, and then we'll sue and ask them to pay compensation. Okay? So when it is not registered, it is a bit more complicated. When it's registered, it's a bit more simple. You say that we've been registered since this time. Alright? We are the registered owners. So we ask the court to give us this court order. Quite easy. They have to prove that our registration was wrong. They have to challenge us to say that we are not using the trademark. Or maybe we registered it wrongly. But once we have this registration, it's easy for us. We just sue. But if we do not have the registration, now when we sue, we have to find people. We have to say that these are our customers. Maybe Leo, you turn up as a customer. Maybe Shane, you turn up as a customer. Alright? And then you take a declaration. You say that, yes, I know this brand. I've been using this brand for years. And then I saw this new brand. I was mistaken. I was mistaken, and I actually purchased that brand when I wanted to purchase this brand. So then you have to show that there is a confusion in the marketplace. With that, I think the court will be able to consider the court action. So can, but if you register, it makes it easier. It puts the burden on the other side. The other side has to disprove you because you have a certificate. If you don't have a certificate, you have to prove your side first. Then the other side has to start. Okay, next. So coming to the trademark, the definition of trademark. The trademark means any sign capable of being represented graphically, which is capable of distinguishing goods or services, yeah, of one undertaking from those of other undertakings. What it means is that it is a sign, okay, and it must be able to help to distinguish your product from others. Next. What is a sign? So under the Trademarks Act, a sign is actually very wide. It can be any letter as in A, B, C, D, E. It can be a word, right? Like Apple, right? It can be a name, maybe an invented name, or maybe even your name, Shane. It could be one. As I know, there's an app called Shein, S-H-E-I-N, Shein. It's a clothes brand from China, quite popular among the young ladies now. So if you register a brand called an app called Sheng, they might come after you. You know. So like it can be a signature, it can be a number, a device, alright, and all that. You can I will provide the slides to you guys so you can go through them yourself at your own time. You can access it. Just ask me for the link. Alright. But if I give you the access, please don't distribute it. That's all I'm asking. Okay. So this is an example of a signature as a trademark. How many of you have heard of this brand? Probably the two of you play golf lah.
I can't read the handwriting.
Oh.
What does it say?
It says Arnold Palmer.
Oh.
Arnold Palmer.
Oh.
Arnold Palmer, yeah, used to be quite a prominent golfer. Alright, just like Tiger Woods, but he was earlier than Tiger Woods.
Oh, that's a lawyer's handwriting.
That's a golfer's signature, so that's one. So he actually registered that, and you can go to a sport shop today. You can see the shirts, the trousers, everything got his signature. This guy, his name is Usain Bolt. Who has heard of him? Yeah, Usain Bolt is the fastest man in the world at one time. He's from Jamaica. He was the fastest man in the world, but I heard that he retired, is it? So every time he won a race, he'll do something like this. Yeah, correct, huh?
Yes.
Yeah, every time he does that. Now, as he was nearing to his retirement, he decided to register this post. So if you check, there is actually a black and white image of him. It's not really his face, but then it's an image of a man, black color against a white background. And by registering it, he can then use it to sell clothing. He can use it to sell gym equipment. He can use it to sell gym membership or anything else. Yes?
Since it's an image of a man drawn in black, right, and with this pose, if I'm a white man in this pose?
The registration is actually on a black color. That means there's no features at all. It's totally blacked out. It's just a silhouette.
Silhouette.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. So it's a silhouette.
It's just a silhouette. So now, just now the definition of sign also includes devices. So some of you may not know what is a device. Now this is actually a specific term in the trademark industry. Alright? When we say device, it means actually a graphical element. Okay. So for example, this is a device, a switch device. Alright? This device is actually what we call a chevron. This and then this device, the circle, is also a device. Alright. So the trademark office, whenever it registers a trademark, it will also note down that these are certain devices that they have. These devices help the trademark to stand out. Okay. So we are now going into application for registration. Now, for those of you who are interested, you can apply to register the trademark yourself if you want. Alright. Applying to the trademark for yourself is quite straightforward. You just fill in the forms. Okay. But there is a potential that you might come to some kind of objection or opposition. When that happens, you need my help lah. You need a trademark agent to help you. But just to put in the application itself is quite straightforward. You can do it. Okay. So the application form is freely downloadable from you can download it from the trademark office website. Okay, and you fill it in. This is important. There's something called a class. There are more than 40 classes, right? 40 categories of trademarks. Sorry. Thank you. I think that might be Jason.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. So if the trademark office raises an objection, you have to deal with it. Alright? And if there's no objection, that means you proceed to the next stage. Right? You will go for government gazette. If there is an opposition from members of the public at a point of time, then you also have to deal with that. If you can deal with both of those, then after that you will get through to your certificate. Okay. Sorry, let me just take a 1 minute break. Just take a 1 minute break. You need to open the door. As I was saying, the trademark application, alright, it goes through these few stages. Once you put in an application, if the trademark registrar thinks that there is a problem with your application, it will raise an objection. If there is no objection, alright, then the trademark office will schedule your trademark for advertisement in the government gazette. This government gazette is actually what we call the warta. It is published from time to time. And those trademarks which are published, there is a time frame, 2 months. So anyone in the world, anywhere, even from Timbuktu, even from Singapore, even from US, anywhere, they can then raise what is called an opposition. Okay, and this opposition will be you will have to deal with it. Okay, at that point of time, if you have an opposition, you have to get a trademark agent to deal with it because it is quite a bit of paperwork. So if you can deal with both the objection or you don't have an objection, and then after that if you can deal with the opposition or you don't have an opposition, then it is all the way straight to the certificate. Alright? Next. So when you look into the trademark office, there are 40 over classes, I think 45 classes. Alright? And these 45 classes are actually borrowed from the NIST classification. So these are the NIST classification under the WIPO, the World Intellectual Property Organization. It is also used in a number of other countries, in many countries. Okay? So if you apply for drinks, say let's say Beyond, you registered your brand for drinks. Now, it is not protected for say stationery, right? So you have to register separately for that one. In Malaysia, it is one application to one class. Yeah. You cannot have one application to multiple class. In some other countries, you can have one application to multiple class, maybe 3 classes, maybe 5 classes, right? So that in those countries, it is more cost effective. But in this country, it is one application, one class. So somebody who's starting out, how many should you register? Any idea? For me,
Somebody is starting up.
just starting up, how many classes should you register?
I think I'll start with one.
Start with one, correct. So I also have this advice as well. And you're right now. You know, if you are starting up, you register one application, and then you have one class. It is good enough. So once it goes through, all right, then you can easily register the other classes because you know that this particular application has no problem. Now, if you are very ambitious, like some people that I know, they will suddenly put in 5 classes for one application. When one of them has a problem, all of them will have a problem. Yeah, then you have to get a trademark agent to deal with all 5 of them, which the trademark agent will charge you because why should he not charge you? Right? So it is smarter to actually go in one, and then once that is registered, then you can apply for more. But sometimes you deal on multiple fronts. Your business might deal on multiple fronts. Like let's say you are a shopping mall. You have your in-house brand. How many of you have heard of Tesco or Aeon? Yeah. All of these are actually selling consumer products. They also have their own house brand. Alright? And this house brand, let's say Aeon, it is not only for one product in one class. They might be selling detergent, that is one class. They might be selling canned food, that's another class. Biscuits, another one. Alright? So they have to go on multiple classes. Sometimes you cannot avoid it. Sometimes if the business is really just starting up, yes, one is good enough. Sometimes if you're going big, then you have to go. That's because the business is already in the millions, right? If your business is already in the millions, this is chicken feed, nothing. But if you are a small startup, you know, you are strapped for cash, maybe you go one. Alright? Maybe you are a software as a service. One is good enough. Class for 2. Software. Okay. Next. So as I mentioned just now, there are 2 hurdles in every application. Yeah. So the first one is called the objection. That is raised by the trademark examiner. When that person receives your application, he'll go through the database. He'll look at it. Does it fulfill the requirements? Is it something which cannot be registered? Alright? And then he will give you this objection. Once you get through this, again it goes through the Gazette, then anyone can raise an opposition. Now I do quite a fair bit of opposition. I have a tie-up with a trademark agency from Johor. Unfortunately, I think Corbett had a bad experience with that guy. But yeah, but somehow that was many years ago lah. And then later on, I got to tie up with him. Okay. So I get my opposition book from him. If you get through both of these, or you do not have both of these, okay, then you will get your certificate. After you get your certificate, people can still challenge your trademark. Maybe you registered a brand from, say, some obscure corner of the world, and it was not known at that point of time that there is this brand. You registered it and you start using it. That company may be able to take a court case against you, even though you registered it. Alright? Okay, next. Now this is about objection. The grounds which the trademark registrar will raise. When you get an objection, it will be one of these. I think there's someone next page. Let me go through them. So, yeah, back to the previous one. So, the first one and quite a common one is non-distinctiveness. Non-distinctiveness, it means that this trademark cannot distinguish your brand from others. I'll give you an example. You heard of Kentucky Fried Chicken. Alright? Kentucky is a place. Fried chicken is fried chicken. Okay? When they registered Kentucky Fried Chicken, alright? Now the question then arises, in Kentucky, in the US, is there anybody else selling fried chicken?
Yeah.
I'm sure there is, right?
Yeah.
It's such a big place. There must be other people selling fried chicken. So, by taking up this Kentucky Fried Chicken, it doesn't give any, anything to distinguish KFC from the other sellers. So that's why now it's moved on to KFC. Okay? That's why nowadays you see all their shops is KFC. Sometimes you see Kentucky Fried Chicken, but most of the time it's KFC on top. Correct or not?
Yeah.
Yeah. I did wonder, of course, in the past, what if somebody wanted to sell Kung Fu Chao? You know, Kung Fu Chao is also KFC. Alright? And it is a totally different one. Can you register KFC for Kung Fu Chao? I think probably that is a question for somebody to think about. Alright? The next one is descriptive trademarks. So descriptive trademarks is like you are describing the product that you are trying to brand. Okay? For example, if you want to sell toothpaste and you call it toothpaste, alright, or ubat gigi in some other language, can you register that? The answer is no, because you are using the words which describe the product itself. It must distinguish it. Okay? When you just describe it, it cannot. So another example is if you have a picture of a toothpaste being put on a brush. That one also cannot. Because it is describing the toothpaste itself. This one an example given by the trademark registrar during the seminar. So I just tell you guys. Okay. Laudatory nature, that means it praises itself. So when a trademark tells you that the product is good, that actually gives it a bit of an unfair advantage. Alright, and those kind of things actually are not supposed to allow. But sometimes you see products in the market which somehow seem laudatory. Like there's a brand of trademark called Fresh and White. Right or not? Yeah, I believe it is by the Lion Corporation or something like that. Fresh and White. It tells you that when you brush your teeth, it becomes fresh. You feel fresh, and it is white. I believe it is under this particular category, but I do not know why it went through. Okay. Now, confusing similarity with other trademarks. This one I believe you know. When you have a brand called Beyond, and then somebody else called Leon's selling the same product, people get confused. Maybe Sheng, you start a brand for sportswear, and then Shein, S-H-E-I-N, is already in the marketplace. You can Google for them, right? What happens is that people will be confused. Maybe they want to buy your that product, but they buy your product instead. Somebody is losing money to you, right? And it's unfair to that person. That's just one aspect of it. If it's just money, it's okay. But what if they thought that they were buying that product, they buy your product, and your product turns out to be so bad, so bad, they leave a 1-star review on that guy's page. What happens? That means your bad job is reflected on them. It's also another reason to block you. Correct or not? Yeah. So, number 5, it resembles a famous trademark. Now, famous trademarks are actually protected under our Malaysian law, even though they may not be registered. Okay? Yeah, there is a protection there. It could also be deceptive mark. That means it tells you that it is from a certain origin, but it is not that case. So I have an example later on. Alright. These are all also covered in the Act as well. It is contrary to public policy or morality. I can't think of any examples at the moment, but maybe maybe those related to marijuana. I think those might be rejected. Those, if you try to register something for gambling, maybe it might be rejected. Alright. If it contains scandalous or offensive, this one I think highly subjective, because what is offensive to one person may be acceptable to another person. Yeah. So I also do not know exactly how to give you examples for this. The third one is if it is prejudicial to the interest or security of the country. I also can't give you example for this. Right? But if it uses protected emblem or signs, maybe the word royal, certain flags, things like that, those will be rejected. Okay? And if it uses generic terms, that means other people need to use it. We go back to the example, like Kentucky Fried Chicken. Everybody else is selling fried chicken. Once you register it, nobody else can use the word fried chicken. Is it fair to other people? It's not fair. Yeah. So I think KFC also, they got a case recently in India. It's called the chicken zinger. Yeah. So they said the chicken is actually the court said the chicken is actually a generic term. It cannot be specifically reserved by KFC. Okay. Next. How are we doing in terms of time? Am I still doing time?
11:10.
Okay. I think I have to rush it up a bit. Okay. How many of you have heard of this place? This is actually the brand of a restaurant. It's called Ali, Mutu and Ahok. Now, when you look back into the interviews of the founder, there's actually no Ali, Mutu or Ahok. The founders are actually three guys called Colin So, Ernest Ong, and Bruce Wong. I ask you now, is this a deceptive trademark?
No.
Because you think that there are actually three guys behind it.
Okay.
Right? These three guys do not exist. It is not a cartoon character. There is no reason for them to use these three names. But you go to there because you think that there's actually these three names there, these three people behind the company. Is that deceptive or not? I don't want to give you the answer because maybe that is defamatory in nature, but you can think for yourself lah. Okay, next. An opposition, like I mentioned just now, this is when it has gone to the government gazette, and anyone in the world, anywhere, can lodge a complaint, an opposition against you. Right? He does not even have to be a trademark owner. Right? He might be from a trade organization. So they might be protecting their interests. An example of that may be when you try to register what is called a geographical indicator. Heard of it? So an example may be champagne. Champagne is actually sparkling wine. But when it comes from a certain region in France, you can use the word champagne. Everybody else in the world, even though it tastes the same, looks the same, you must use sparkling wine. Now, if you somehow want to register champagne in Malaysia, that association will come after you. Alright? Nowadays, they also call it extended passing off. Alright? It is not just that one anymore, but they extended it to extended passing off. So, opposition can be quite a serious matter, but for now, we'll assume that most of you won't need to face this just yet. Okay? Next. So, when you face a problem with your trademark application, alright, this is from my personal experience, you have to respond. And some of these things you can use to defend your application. Number one, you show that you were using the brand before the other party. Alright? I am currently representing a karaoke company. They have another competitor which brand is very similar, even more successful than my client. Yeah, but when I respond, when we raise the opposition, in fact our client's application met objection. The other party one is now at the Gazette stage. So, but our client was actually using the brand earlier. So we raised the opposition. We showed that we actually applied earlier, even though we have objection. All right, this one. If they can show that they were using it before my client, they can go through. Next one, the party has no presence in the Malaysian market. That means to say that they are just registering it, they may not be using it. So you can actually oppose them on that grounds. Right? There is brand recognition. So if somebody is trying to knock up your application, you can show that my brand is actually recognized, for this particular name in this particular industry. Right? And then there is no confusion in your customer's mind. This one, I think, if you have somehow won some awards, right? You have been mentioned in some article, you have given some awards, that kind of thing. You show this to the trademark office in a sworn declaration. They will somehow give some weight to it. So, Johnny, the other day I went for an event and then you asked me, is it paid? Yes, it is, but then there is a value. You can show the award, best new agency or whatever it is, right? 2022. You can show it to the trademark office and they will give some weight to it. And you have spent a substantial amount. This one is also covered in most of the manuals. You can find it in the manual for trademark examiners. Right? If in Singapore, their guideline is 5 years. If you have been promoting it for 5 years, they will give you extra weight. Okay. Next. So this one it is really up to you guys, but this is just my personal view. To help establish the defensive evidence, that means you establish it before the problem arises. What can you do? You can pay for reviews of your product. There's such a thing. You can get a journalist to do it for you. You can get a social media influencer to do it for you. Right? You can advertise your product. Even though you are just starting up, you can start to advertise in newspapers, in magazines. This one will establish that you are already in the marketplace. Alright? And as I mentioned earlier, 5 years, it will be very helpful. So maybe for your agency, if you want to advertise, in some small magazine, doesn't matter. When the time comes, you just show it to them. You keep your receipts when you spend money, right? Especially on all these promotional work. Maybe on your billboard, signboard, whatever it is, maybe on your advertisements. You take pictures of events. Yeah. Sometimes people don't like to take pictures, but unfortunately, if you don't do that, you have no evidence. So you take pictures. You can keep it. You can post it on social media. Maybe have a Facebook page. All the things that happen, you just post it there, because that will give it a timestamp. But I don't know, maybe Shane, you have a way to put it on the blockchain.
Oh yes.
That one is also possible as well. Right? You can keep good relation with your vendors. When the time comes, you need people to actually show that this brand is recognized in the marketplace. Your vendor, your customers, all of them will come to your help, and they will take the sworn declaration. Alright? And I think you should register in the classes which are related to your product. Okay, next. We are coming towards the close review. But this one is an example. How many of you have seen this milk product? It's called Yara Farm. Yeah. This product actually met an objection from the trademark office. Now, I was the trademark agent that actually helped to deal with the objection. The grounds of the objection was actually Yara is the name of a place in Australia. Yeah, it is actually famous for wine. Yeah, a farm is actually just a farm. So it's a name of a place plus a product, Yara Farm. The trademark office said there's nothing special about it. Alright? So we actually prepared a sworn declaration, gave the evidence. There are many people on social media which actually advocate to use this Yara Farm products in their cooking. When they make certain kind of pastry, they say please use this particular brand because it's the right milk to use. Right? You could show more than 5 years in the market. I can't remember, not more than 5 years, but sorry, that's wrong. We could show that it was actually backed by Farm Fresh. Yeah, which is actually a listed company. So because of that, I think it went through. Next. This is another example. So I guess with me, just a minute. I'll get the actual one from you. Can I have you as an assistant? Can you hold on this one? Yeah. So this was a case where we represented, this is an example. Alamak. Okay, so this was actually our client's product. This is the original. And then this one was the copycat. Do they confuse you or not?
Yes.
Would you get confused by looking at the two?
Definitely.
Can you tell which one is different? How are they similar?
Yeah, colors.
Colors are similar, right? Anything else similar?
The cat holding the
cat
bowl.
holding the plate.
The cat holding the bowl, yeah. So, you know, when you are a product producer, you produce this, somebody else produces this. This is what we call passing off. This is what we call passing off. And so there is a case to be taken. This case was actually in Kelantan. Right? So we went all the way there. This is also another one. After we gave them a letter of demand, they came up with this one instead. So that was before the court case.
This one, the fonts are similar.
Yeah? So this one you can tell. This one is a clear-cut case where it is passing off. Alright? And this is what we call a trade dress. Even, or what we call a get-up. Alright? This one, where it's too similar, it is also an infringement. But this is not just on the trademark, because the name sounds different. Super Momo, Momo please. You can say that it is similar in the Momo, but the get up, the look and feel of it is also very similar. So there is a case there as well. Alright? Thank you. Okay. So that's why they issued this notice to people. Okay, next. I believe it's okay. Now we go into our question and answer time. Any questions or answers? I believe.
Shing, ask question.
Yeah.
Yes.
What's the difference between copyright and trademark?
We will come to copyright afterwards. But basically, trademarks is for your logos and your signs. Yeah. Copyright is for your creative endeavor.
Okay.
Let's say the painting behind it, the starry night. Yeah. If you are the painter of that, you have the copyright of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think if he's alive, he might be able to sue you, right?
Yeah, but he's already passed away, and copyrights only last for a certain period of time.
Yep.
Anybody else got a question?
So you mentioned that when I register my trademark, it's recognized around the world?
No, it's registered. So patents will be having this worldwide effect. When you register a patent, an invention, right, it is, the rights are recognized all over the world. Sorry, you guys can actually use the other toilet now, but the flush not so powerful. You can use the other one if you like. But for small business, big business, I don't recommend the next one. Okay. So for trademarks, it is regional.
Regional.
So if you want to protect it in, say, 3 countries, you have to register it in 3 countries. Unless you have achieved the status of famous trademark.
So initially one of your slides in the text, you said that, so if I register my trademark in Malaysia, I can be rejected worldwide.
Yeah, that's...
It is like, I only try to apply in Malaysia, but somehow someone from Timbuktu can reject my application in Malaysia. Is that what you're
that's
saying?
for opposition.
Opposition. Okay.
So when they raise an opposition, and if they're not here in Malaysia, you can also defend your trademark because they have no intention to come into Malaysia. They just want to put opposition. Yeah.
And I think I presume that the way to handle against squatters means people just keep registering trademark in a country before a brand comes in. Would be that how would you handle squatters, like in the case of?
I think for China, where a lot of the squatters are from, they are a different category. If you want to enter the Chinese market, you just register. Alright? I actually had somebody come to my office before. He was doing this OEM light bulbs, but he was a designer of the light bulbs. So he registered it in Singapore, and then he said somebody else registered it in Malaysia. Then he found out that this guy was also planning to register it in China. So I said, never mind, Malaysia I can represent you to sue the guy. But China one, you need somebody else. He said, never mind, he will just do it in China because he has to be faster than the other guy. So he focused on China. China a bigger market. Malaysia is a smaller market. So, one more question maybe? After that, we'll take a short break. Any question? Alicia, you have a question? Okay, beyond.
Okay, my friend supposed to come today, but he cannot make it. It's a product from a country. They say it's a country well-known product. They bring it to Malaysia and doing their distribution.
Right. So can he register the trademark? Is that the
Should
question?
they register? They've been tell them they've been registered. They've been original in the Australia been so long already. They can sell very good. They do the distribution here. I can't understand why they don't do the trademark. I just get pulled up. But you say, hey, they've been very famous in Australia. Why should they do the trademark here?
Okay. So for the distributor, sometimes we have this issue. You are bringing in a product, and that product is doing well in the country of origin, right? Say from Australia, it's doing well. So it's probably protected over there. Now, you are not the trademark owner. So you just come, you bring in the product as a distributor. If you register it here, the trademark office will ask you, what right do you have? Because this trademark is actually, from Australia. Maybe they want the Australian entity to register it. If you can get your friend to show that he's a distributor, alright, and he's authorized to register under the distributorship agreement to protect the brand, I think he can register. It's not expensive. If he does not do that, he applies for it by himself without the authorization, he might get a problem from the trademark office. Now, if on the other hand, he doesn't want to register, somebody else might bring in a copycat product. And what happens is that this copycat product might actually take over the market. Alright? And be even more successful than the original. There are a number of cases where copycat brands become more successful than the original. And at that point of time, they can show that they have the revenue coming in. Right? They can show. So at that point of time, maybe the best thing to do is just to sell the brand to the copycat. Okay?
Kevin,
Yeah.
I have a question following Beyond's question.
Yep.
Beyond's example is the Malaysian company is a distributor of a product of a brand belongs to another country. Isn't it, if need to register this particular brand or trademark, the original legal owner in Australia should register in Malaysia and not the distributor, because the distributor agreement is distribution.
Yeah.
Unless, if let's say the distributor is the one is allowed by the Australian legal owner to register in Malaysia, the Malaysia company become the legal owner of the trademark in Malaysia.
Yeah.
Isn't it that will create a future
Clash.
conflict
Yeah.
on legal ownership of this particular trademark? That's my question.
Thank you. Thank you for your question, Alicia. So I think the right way to do it is actually the origin owner should register in Malaysia. Then they fill in a form whereby they authorize a user, a local user, so then the distributor becomes the authorized user. The local distributor will have the name inside the trademark registration. And I think that's better because distributors come and go. Yeah?
Yeah.
But you also have a situation like a franchisee survive, and the original owner of the brand collapse. Example would be Borders Bookshop. You know that Borders Bookshop collapsed in the US, but Berjaya actually licensed the brand, so they can continue to use the brand. Alright, do they own the brand? The answer is no. It's actually owned by that collapsed entity. Another one, I think.
Toys R Us.
Huh?
Toys R Us also.
Toys R Us also.
Something similar.
I didn't follow that one, but okay. Yeah. So another example is, as Jason mentioned, Toys R Us also. Yeah. The original collapse. Alright.
You want to hear an interesting story? You guys might be familiar with Indomie and Ibumi. Yeah. So Indomie was the original product that came from Indonesia. So it's called Indonesian mee. So they mix it up together so they can register. So they have a JV agreement with a local partner in Malaysia. So with this local partner, they went to register the mark, and it got registered. Subsequently, Indomie became so famous. Everyone wants to have that instant mee goreng. You go for Indomie. Came one point where there was a bickering between the original owner and the Malaysian counterpart. So they went to court and they were fighting over this right to use Indomie. And the Indonesia found it's just too tedious, and it was registered under their name, the Malaysian counterpart name. So they abandoned it.
Oh.
They abandoned it, you take the mark, you continue to market it, doesn't matter. I'll come under another name called Ibumi. So in the market now, you have got Indomie and Ibumi. So Indomie is by the original Malaysia, Ibumi is by the original Indonesian owner.
Wow.
So two in the market now for the same brand, for slightly different branding.
Which one is nicer?
Which one is nicer? I will always stick with the original lah. So it's Ibumi now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Later we'll try it out. So Alicia, you got another angle to the answer to your question. Yeah. Thank you.
Sorry. Just a question. Something similar to Ali, Mutu and Ahok lah. I think you know the owners of this brand. So is it a misrepresentation for brands like Manhattan Fish Market, which is not from Manhattan, but
Oh yeah.
they seem to tell people that they're from Manhattan.
Your ramen also not from South Korea.
Yeah, actually I also got to know the guy Kevin Koo long time ago when they were just starting out. I also asked him the question, like I didn't ask him that one, but in Manhattan Fish Market there was also since don't know what, a certain number of years, and I asked him, did you do it for that number of years? He said, the original Manhattan Fish Market. Ada. I said, how about your company? He said, we just started lah. Okay, so that was a different story, but in my opinion, it would also be a deceptive trademark. But for some reason, the trademark office didn't catch it. Alright? Now, what actually happens for some cases, there is an objection. Alright? So they put in an application, it gets objected. They cannot overcome the objection, so eventually the application is abandoned. But the business, because they want the brand, they continue to market it. So after a number of years, they apply again, and then they show that we have now acquired distinctiveness. If you Google for this, acquired distinctiveness, that means over the years, by itself it's not distinctive, but we got acquired distinctiveness. And with that, the trademark office can actually let you register it. Alright? But that is with a few years of track record.
Can people then protest against the trademark after it's registered? Let's say if I'm really from Manhattan and I come to Malaysia and I went to Manhattan Fish Market and I ate it and said this is fake, can I actually take a case and say this is deceptive trademark? And say this company is fake, can you please track off this trademark?
They have the right to apply under the court proceedings.
No, under Manhattan Fish Market, the original background dissolved. So Jeffrey continue as Manhattan Fish Market and sold all this up to the GSC for 200 million.
Wow. Yeah, at that point of time they were getting into a bunch of different food. I think there was one sushi, one as well they were doing. this one, Manhattan Fish Market, plus another one I can't remember. Tony Roma's
Which
also
George?
under that brand.
George.
Yeah, I think you guys may be aware of them, right? Do you know of Jeffrey?
Jeffrey.
We deal with Josh Ang.
A&W,
Yeah, A&W, Manhattan Fish Market, Subway,
Subway.
Okay.
The Bun.
Or
Okay.
the bun.
So,
DRI.
so these are the new owners lah.
Mm.
Yeah, so I think it's already established in the market. Most likely, even if they were to raise this, it will not pass muster lah.
Okay. Just one more question. Very interesting. So talking about trademark, remember one time Old Town wanted to trademark Old Town,
Old Town, yes.
and then it was rejected lah. So I'm not sure whether is it approved. But let's say if it's approved, I'm not sure. Just hypothetical question. If it's approved, and let's say I start a brand in some big place in Penang or whatever lah, and it's called Old Town Penang. Can Old Town then reject and say, hey, you sound similar to me?
Yeah.
But it's actually from, let's say there's a big Old Town, Penang Old Town, so it's like Penang Old Town. Would it be competing?
So like I said just now, opposition can be lodged by anybody, anywhere. So the moment it goes into Gazette stage, then you can lodge the opposition. So those who are professionals, they will monitor the Gazette, especially the trademark professionals. They will say if there's somebody who's applying to register, at that point of time you put an application to put opposition, alright, against this application. At the point of time it is the right time. If not, you can also do a passing off action. That is not assuming that they don't want to register or they have not registered or for some reason they have already registered. You can still do a passing off action. Yeah, on confusing similarity.
But would it be confusing to people?
As to raise an opposition, you just need to show that there is some similarity. It is for them to respond.
But
The
the old-
applicant must prove.
But the Old Town get approval.
Again,
Did Old Town get a trademark?
I didn't follow that case.
Sorry, case. Let me double check.
After there will be some, I think in the next section, not this one, but after the second seminar, there will be a brief segment where I will ask you guys to do a trademark, checking and all that lah. Right? But that will be later. I don't want to blow my own cover lah. Okay. Next. Yeah, because I don't want to bocor the soalan before it happens. You see. So, can we have a short quiz?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, if what is the most valuable trademark brand in the world? Anyone remember? Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. Sorry.
Sorry, I didn't put up my hand.
Okay, please, Alicia.
Apple.
Apple, yes. Okay. So just now when I said if it comes to China, what should you do first to protect your brand?
Register first.
Yes, you should register so that you preempt the squatters.
Yes.
Alright? Let me think. When you want to register a brand, right, for the first time, how many classes do you need to cover? Anyone? Raise your hand, please.
One.
One. Okay, lah. Okay. So one is the right answer, but again, that depends on your business lah. If you're dealing with a lot of products, you might want to cover all those classes. All right. Okay, I think that's it for the quiz. All right. Thank you. We'll go into the group discussion. So I'm going to break you guys into a few groups. Go to the next page. Right, please arrange yourself into groups of 3 persons and try to form group with people that you do not know. That means before this. So I think can I what I call it? Maybe get you guys to arrange yourself right? I know the 3 of you are good friends. Maybe try to join.
No, we just argued yesterday.
No longer good friends. I'm leaving this group now.
I mean, you debated.
Okay, so I would like you guys to form 3 groups. Okay? Group number 1 with Alicia, group number 2 with Chong Yi, And group number 3, I think, where? Maybe Mr. Fong. Alright? So maybe the 3 of you, one group. Okay? And then after, yeah. Chong Yin, I think you, my brother Leo. Beyond will come over here. Unfortunately, the 2 of you know each other, so I'm sorry. You know Kevin Koo, but it's okay lah. So okay lah, that one. So bye, you join them. You join Alicia's side there. No. Can. Yeah, so I'm going to give you guys an exercise. The paper I will have from the internet. Not a case study.
We'll create a new one, right?
Okay, guys. This is an exercise in the creativity. Right? Now each one of you take one. I don't have extra pen, so you guys have pen?
Thank you.
Which thing is better?
Great.
Oh, yeah, Red Bull got no, that one. No, that is fast food also fighting for it.
Okay. No. Thanks. Leila, come.
Okay,
Okay, so what do you guys prefer? Energy drink or fast food?
Right.
You team with two milk team lah. two milk team.
2 milk.
Why nine go there? Why nine?
What was the question?
Energy drink or fast food? Which one do you prefer?
Energy drink or fast food? Which one you want? Fast food or energy drink? You want drink? Not milk cannot.